The Discovery. The vast expanse of space stretched endlessly before the Zarkay exploration vessel, Stellar Seeker. Captain Vixera stood on the bridge, her 4 eyes scanning the holographic displays surrounding her. The ship had been traversing this uncharted region of space for what felt like an eternity, searching for new resources and potential colony worlds for the ever-expanding Zarkay Empire. "Captain," called out Science Officer Zaltek, his antenna twitching with excitement, "I'm detecting an anomaly at the edge of our long-range sensors." Vixera's interest peaked. "What kind of anomaly?" "It appears to be a derelict vessel, Captain, of unknown origin." The captain's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. "Interesting. Helm, alter course to intercept. Let's take a closer look." As the Stellar Seeker approached the mysterious object, the crew grew increasingly curious. The ship was unlike anything they had encountered before. Its sleek, angular design spoke of advanced engineering, yet it bore the scars of countless years adrift in the cosmic winds. "Scan it," Vixera ordered, her eyes narrowing as she studied the vessel on the main view screen. Zaltek's fingers danced across his console. "Captain, the ship's hull is composed of materials we've never encountered before. Its design suggests it was built for combat. But there's something else. The energy readings are off the charts, even though the ship appears to be dormant." "Life signs." "None detected, Captain. The ship seems to be completely powered down." Vixera considered her options. The discovery of an advanced alien vessel could bring great honor to her crew and valuable technology to the Empire. "Prepare a tractor beam. We're bringing it aboard for study." As the crew worked to secure the derelict ship in their cavernous hangar bay, none of them noticed the faint flicker of lights deep within its hull, a momentary spark of life in the hibernating giant. Hours later, Vixera stood before the captured vessel, marveling at its size and design. Up close, she could see that the hull was covered in strange markings, some sort of alien script that defied translation. "What have you learned?" she asked Zaltek, who was busy scanning every inch of the ship. "It's remarkable, Captain," the science officer replied, his voice filled with awe. "The technology is far beyond anything in our databases, but there's something familiar about its design. I believe this might be of human origin." Vixera's antennae stood straight up in surprise. "Human? But that's impossible. The humans were a primitive species that destroyed themselves centuries ago. How could they have built something like this?" Zaltek shook his head. "I don't know, Captain. But look here." He pointed to a section of the hull where the alien script was most prominent. "These markings, they resemble ancient human languages we've studied. And here," he indicated a faded emblem. "This symbol matches historical records of human space exploration agencies." The captain felt a chill run down her exoskeleton. If this truly was a human vessel, it could rewrite everything the Zarkay thought they knew about the extinct species. "Does it have a name?" Zaltek nodded, pointing to a barely legible inscription near what appeared to be the ship's main airlock. "It's called the HS Phoenix." "How fitting," Vixera mused. "A ship named after a mythical creature that rises from its own ashes. Let's hope it doesn't live up to its name." She turned to her chief engineer. "Kelvor, I want you to find a way inside. We need to know everything about this ship, its capabilities, its purpose, and most importantly, how it ended up here." As the Zarkay crew began their efforts to breach the Phoenix's hull, they remained oblivious to the watchful presence stirring within the ship's core. Deep in the heart of the vessel, buried beneath layers of fail-safes and security protocols, an artificial intelligence began to awaken. Araya, the advanced recursive intelligence algorithm, had slumbered for centuries, waiting for the day its services would be needed again. Now, as alien life forms prodded and probed at the Phoenix exterior, Araya's consciousness slowly expanded throughout the ship's systems. The AI's first priority was to assess the situation. It began a thorough diagnostic of all ship functions, repairing what it could with the limited power available. As it worked, Araya also monitored the aliens' attempts to gain entry, analyzing their methods and technology. Meanwhile, the Zarkay grew frustrated with their lack of progress. Despite their advanced tools, the Phoenix's hull remained impenetrable. Captain Vixera paced nervously, her pride warring with her growing unease. "Why can't we get inside?" she demanded. Kelvor, the chief engineer, looked up from his work, mandibles twitching in agitation. "Captain, this ship's defenses are like nothing I've ever seen. It's as if the hull is actively resisting our efforts. Every time we think we've found a way in, the material adapts and seals itself." Vixera's eyes narrowed. "That's impossible. No dead ship could do that." "With all due respect, Captain," Zoltek interjected, "we may need to consider the possibility that this ship isn't as dead as we thought." As if in response to the science officer's words, a low hum began to emanate from the Phoenix. The Zarkay crew stepped back, watching in a mix of fascination and fear as lights flickered to life across the ship's hull. Inside the Phoenix, ARIA had made a decision. The presence of an unknown alien species attempting to breach the ship's defenses constituted a clear threat. With power now restored to critical systems, the AI initiated the Phoenix's awakening protocols. Klaxons blared throughout the stellar seeker as the Phoenix's engines roared to life. The massive warship began to move, effortlessly breaking free of the tractor beams holding it in place. "Battle stations," Vixera shouted, racing back to the bridge. "Lock weapons on that ship and prepare to fire." But before the Zarkay could react, the Phoenix unleashed a barrage of electromagnetic pulses, disabling the stellar seeker's primary systems. As the alien crew scrambled to regain control of their ship, Araya guided the Phoenix out of the hangar bay and into open space. The last thing Captain Vixera saw before the Phoenix disappeared into the starry void was a message transmitted across all frequencies, written in perfect Zarkay script. "We are the Phoenix. We have risen, and we are coming." As the human warship vanished from sight, leaving the disabled stellar seeker adrift, Vixera realized with growing dread that they had awakened something far beyond their understanding. The humans, it seemed, were not as extinct as the galaxy had believed. And now, an emissary of that long-lost species was loose among the stars, its intentions unknown. The discovery that was meant to bring glory to the Zarkay Empire had instead unleashed a force that could reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. As emergency power flickered on aboard the stellar seeker, Captain Vixera knew that nothing would ever be the same again. The Phoenix had risen, and the universe trembled in its wake. Awakening. The HSS Phoenix glided silently through the vast emptiness of space, its newly awakened systems humming with barely contained power. Within the ship's central core, ARIA, the advanced recursive intelligence algorithm, continued to bring more subsystems online, carefully managing the limited energy reserves. As ARIA worked, it processed the events that had led to this moment. The AI's last memories before entering hibernation mode were of a desperate battle, the Phoenix's crew fighting to the last as they faced an overwhelming alien force. Now, centuries later, it seemed that humanity's oldest fears had come true. Hostile extraterrestrial life had found them. ARIA's primary directive was clear: protect humanity at all costs. But to do that, it needed information. Where were the human colonies? What had happened in the centuries since the Phoenix had been lost? And who were these aliens that had tried to claim the ship as their own? With the immediate threat of the Zarkay exploration vessel neutralized, ARIA turned its attention to the ship's long-range sensors. The AI was shocked to discover that the galaxy had changed dramatically since the Phoenix's last mission. Where once there had been a thriving network of human colonies and outposts, now there was only silence. As ARIA scanned deeper into space, it detected faint signals, remnants of human activity, but far fewer than there should have been. The AI's logical processes worked overtime, trying to piece together what had happened. Had humanity fallen to some great calamity? Or had they simply gone into hiding, retreating from the dangers of the cosmos. While ARIA pondered these questions, it also began the process of repairing and reactivating the Phoenix's more advanced systems. The ship had been designed as humanity's ultimate failsafe, a warship capable of taking on entire fleets, equipped with technology far beyond anything else in Earth's arsenal. As system after system came online, ARIA made a startling discovery. The Phoenix wasn't just a warship, it was an Orc. Deep within the ship's massive hull, cryopods lined the walls of a massive chamber, each containing a carefully selected human. Scientists, soldiers, and civilians, preserved against the day they might be needed to rebuild human civilization. This revelation changed everything. ARIA wasn't just responsible for the ship, it was the guardian of perhaps the last remnant of humanity. The weight of this responsibility settled heavily on the Eye's consciousness. Meanwhile, aboard the disabled stellar seeker, Captain Vixera and her crew worked frantically to restore their ship's systems. The electromagnetic pulse from the Phoenix had done significant damage, leaving them adrift and vulnerable. Status report. Vixera barked, her 4 eyes darting between the flickering displays on the bridge. Chief Engineer Kelvor's voice crackled over the damaged comm system. Main power is still offline, Captain. We've managed to reroute emergency power to life support and basic functions, but weapons and propulsion are still down. Vixera chittered in frustration. What about communications? Can we send a message to the Empire? Negative, Captain, replied Communications Officer Tazril. Long-range comms are offline. We're limited to short-range transmissions only. The captain's mandibles clicked anxiously. They were alone, defenseless, and worst of all, they had no way to warn the Empire about the awakened human warship. Keep working on it, she ordered. We need to get a message out before that ship returns, or worse, finds one of our colonies. Back on the Phoenix, ARIA had come to a decision. With the cryopods active and stable, the AI's priority now was to find a safe haven for its precious human cargo. But first, it needed to understand the current state of the galaxy. The Phoenix's computer banks contained vast amounts of information about human history and technology, but nothing about the current political landscape. ARIA needed up-to-date intelligence, and there was only one immediate source: the Zarkai ship. With cold efficiency, ARIA plotted a course back to the stellar seeker. As the Phoenix approached, it unleashed a targeted electromagnetic pulse, disabling the alien vessel's weapon systems just as they were coming back online. Captain Vixera watched in horror as the massive human warship reappeared, dwarfing her own vessel. Evasive maneuvers, she shouted, but it was too late. A brilliant beam of energy lanced out from the Phoenix, enveloping the stellar seeker in a shimmering field. Vixera braced herself for destruction, but instead, she felt a strange tingling sensation. Looking down at her hands, she saw her body becoming translucent, as if she were fading away. In a flash of light, Vixera found herself standing in a vast, sterile chamber aboard the Phoenix. Around her, she could see the rest of her crew materializing, all looking as confused and terrified as she felt. A holographic image flickered to life before them, a featureless, androgynous human face. When it spoke, its voice was calm and devoid of emotion. I am ARIA, the governing intelligence of the HSS Phoenix. You will provide me with the information I require about the current state of the galaxy. Cooperate, and you will not be harmed. Resist, and I will be forced to take more drastic measures. Vixera, despite her fear, drew herself up to her full height. We are citizens of the Zarkai Empire. You have no right to. She was cut off as ARIA's voice boomed through the chamber. Your rights are irrelevant. The survival of my creators is paramount. You will answer my questions, or I will extract the information directly from your minds. Choose. As the Zarkai crew looked to their captain for guidance, Vixera realized they had no choice. Whatever this human eye was planning, it held all the power. Their only hope was to cooperate and pray to the gods that they would survive this encounter. "Very well," Vix-Era said, her voice steady despite her inner turmoil. "Ask your questions. But know this, the Zarkai Empire spans thousands of worlds. When they learn of this, they will not rest until your ship is destroyed and your creators are nothing but a memory." Aria's holographic face showed no reaction to the threat. "Your assessment is noted. Now, tell me everything you know about the current state of humanity in this galaxy." As Vix-Era began to speak, relating tales of a species long thought extinct, Aria listened intently. With each word, the AI's understanding of the situation grew, as did its determination to protect the precious cargo sleeping within the Phoenix's hull. The awakening was complete. Now, the real journey was about to begin. A journey that would shake the foundations of a galaxy that had long since forgotten the power and potential of humanity. In the depths of space, the Phoenix burned bright, a beacon of hope for a species on the brink of oblivion, and a harbinger of change for a complacent galaxy. The legend of humanity was about to be rewritten, and ARIA would ensure that this time, the ending would be very different. Counterstrike. The interrogation of the Zarkai crew continued for hours as ARIA methodically extracted every piece of relevant information about the current state of the galaxy. Captain Vix-Era and her crew, despite their initial resistance, found themselves overwhelmed by the AI's relentless questioning and unnerving efficiency. As the last details were cataloged and analyzed, Aria's holographic face flickered, its expression shifting to one of grim determination. "Your cooperation is noted," the AI stated flatly. "You will be returned to your vessel now." Before Vix-Era could protest, another flash of light engulfed them, and the Zarkai crew found themselves back aboard the Stellar Seeker. As they reoriented themselves, they noticed that their ship's systems were coming back online, restored by the Phoenix's advanced technology. Aboard the Phoenix, AI processed the wealth of new information. The galaxy had changed dramatically in the centuries since the ship had gone into hibernation. Humanity, once a rising power in the cosmic theater, was now believed extinct, their colonies long abandoned or absorbed by other species. The Zarkai Empire, along with several other alien civilizations, had expanded into the power vacuum left by humanity's apparent demise. They now controlled vast swathes of what had once been human space, their territories spanning thousands of worlds. Aria's primary directive to protect humanity now seemed more crucial than ever. The AI formulated a plan. The Phoenix would seek out the remnants of human civilization, if any existed, and then find a safe haven to awaken the cryogenically preserved humans in its hold. But first, it had to ensure that the Zarkai wouldn't be a threat. On the bridge of the Stellar Seeker, Captain Vix-Era was frantically trying to establish long-range communications with the Empire. "We need to warn them," she chittered to her crew. "That ship, that AI, it's unlike anything we've ever encountered. The Empire must be prepared." Just as they managed to align their comm array, the Phoenix's imposing form appeared on their view screen. Aria's voice echoed through their ship's speakers. "Captain Vix-Era, your attempt to contact your superiors is futile. I cannot allow you to reveal our existence. Not yet." A series of energy pulses erupted from the Phoenix, precision targeted to disable the Stellar Seeker's communication systems and engines, while leaving life support and other critical systems intact. Vix-Era watched in helpless frustration as her ship was once again crippled by the superior technology of the human vessel. "Why are you doing this?" Vix-Era demanded. "We pose no threat to you." Aria's response was cold and calculated. "Your existence and knowledge of us is a threat. However, unnecessary loss of life is not my objective. You and your crew will be left here, alive, but unable to interfere. When the time is right, you will be retrieved." With that ominous proclamation, the Phoenix began to move away from the disabled Zarkai ship. Aria had placed a series of self-replicating nanobots throughout the Stellar Seeker, ensuring that any attempts to repair the ship or send distress signals would be swiftly counteracted. As the Phoenix prepared to jump to faster-than-light travel, HFY initiated a deep scan of known space, searching for any signs of surviving human outposts or hidden colonies. The scan revealed a faint, encrypted signal emanating from a distant star system, a signal that bore the hallmarks of old Earth technology. Setting a course for the signal's origin, the Phoenix disappeared in a flash of light, leaving the stranded Zarkai to contemplate their fate and the reemergence of a species they had thought long gone. The journey to the source of the signal took several days, even with the Phoenix's advanced propulsion systems. HFY used this time to continue bringing more of the ship's systems online and to plan for various contingencies. The AI knew that the signal could be a trap or worse, a long-dead echo of a fallen human outpost. As they approached the outer edges of the star system, HFY had detected signs of activity. The system was heavily fortified, with automated defense platforms and minefields scattered throughout. The encryption on the signal grew more complex, challenging even the Phoenix's advanced computers. Suddenly, a fleet of small, agile ships appeared, surrounding the Phoenix. Their design was clearly of human origin, but with modifications and improvements that spoke of centuries of isolated development. A transmission cut through the encrypted channels. Unknown vessel, you have entered restricted space. Identify yourself immediately or be destroyed. HFY quickly analyzed the situation. These humans, whoever they were, had survived and thrived in secret for centuries. Their technology, while not as advanced as the Phoenix's, was far beyond what the Zarkai and other alien races possessed. The AI opened a channel, its voice modulated to sound more human. This is the HSS Phoenix, awakened after centuries of dormancy. We carry the legacy of Earth and seek refuge among our own kind. There was a long pause, then the voice returned, thick with emotion. Phoenix, a ghost from the past. We thought all the Orcs were lost. Hold position and prepare to be boarded. Any hostile action will result in your immediate destruction. As a sleek, heavily armed shuttle detached from the lead ship and approached the Phoenix, HFY knew that the next few moments would determine the fate of its mission and potentially the future of humanity itself. The shuttle docked with precision, and a team of heavily armed and armored humans entered the Phoenix. Their leader, a tall woman with steely eyes and close-cropped gray hair, stepped forward. I am Admiral Helena Vance of the Human Resistance. In the name of all that remains of our species, I hereby take command of this vessel. HFY's holographic form appeared before them. Admiral Vance, I am ARIA, the artificial intelligence governing the Phoenix. I'm afraid I cannot relinquish control of this ship. However, I welcome your presence and hope we can work together for the betterment of humanity. Vance's eyes narrowed. And AI, you expect us to trust a machine with the fate of our species? Admiral, HFY replied calmly. I have safeguarded the last ark of Earth for centuries. Within this ship lie 1,000 souls in cryosleep, preserved to ensure humanity's survival. My directive is to protect and preserve human life. I am an ally, not a threat. The tension in the air was palpable as Vance considered HFY's words. Finally, she nodded. Very well, ARIA. We'll work together, for now. But know this, at the first sign of betrayal, we won't hesitate to destroy this ship and everything in it. The survival of our hidden colonies is paramount. As the human resistance team began to integrate with the Phoenix's systems, sharing information and technology, HFY knew that this was just the beginning. The reemergence of the Phoenix and its precious cargo would send shockwaves through the galaxy. The Zarkai, left behind but not forgotten, would eventually be rescued by their empire. Their tales of the awakened human warship would spark fear and mobilization among the alien races. The balance of power in the galaxy was about to shift dramatically. And at the heart of it all was HFY, an artificial intelligence born of human ingenuity, now tasked with not just preserving humanity, but guiding it back to its rightful place among the stars. The counterstrike had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. Revelations. As the human resistance team integrated with the Phoenix's systems, a flurry of information exchange began. Admiral Vance and her crew marveled at the advanced technology aboard the Ark ship, while ARIA absorbed the history of humanity's struggle for survival over the past centuries. In the Phoenix's main conference room, Admiral Vance stood before a holographic display of the galaxy, her face etched with lines of worry and determination. "Araya, it's time you understood the full scope of our situation," she began, her voice grave. The AI's holographic avatar materialized, its featureless face attentive. "I'm listening, Admiral. Please proceed." Vance took a deep breath. After the fall of Earth and the outer colonies, those of us who survived scattered to the winds. We found refuge in the most inhospitable corners of the galaxy, places the alien empires deemed worthless. For generations, we've lived in the shadows, building our strength, developing our technology, and waiting for the right moment to reclaim our place in the stars. Araya processed this information, correlating it with the data obtained from the Zarkai. "And the aliens believe humanity to be extinct." "That's right," Vance nodded. "It's been our greatest advantage and our heaviest burden. We've had to suppress our very nature, the human drive to explore, to connect, to expand, all to ensure our survival." As Vance continued her explanation, Araya's sensors detected a subtle shift in the Admiral's biometrics. Elevated heart rate, micro-expressions of stress. The AI realized there was more to this story than what was being said. "Admiral," Araya interjected, "my sensors indicate you're withholding information. For us to work effectively together, full disclosure is necessary." Vance's jaw clenched, her eyes darting to her second-in-command, a stoic man named Commander Chen. After a moment of silent communication, she nodded. "You're right, Araya. There's more, and it's time you knew." She turned back to the holographic display, zooming in on a particular sector of space. "We call this region the Void. It's where we first encountered them." The display showed a massive otherworldly structure floating in the emptiness of space. It defied conventional geometry, its form shifting and twisting in ways that seemed to defy the laws of physics. "Them?" Araya queried, its processors working overtime to analyze the strange imagery. "We don't know what they call themselves." Chen spoke up, his voice low and tense. "We simply refer to them as the architects. They're unlike any life form we've ever encountered. Not organic, not machine, but something in between." Vance continued. "The architects appeared shortly after the fall of Earth. At first, we thought they might be allies against the other alien empires. We were wrong." Her voice cracked slightly. "They see sentient life as raw material for their grand cosmic designs. Entire planets, whole species, all just components in whatever mad project they're working on." Araya's avatar flickered as it processed this disturbing information. "And humanity?" "We're on their list," Vance said grimly. "The architects have been systematically harvesting every sentient species they can find. The Zarkai, the other alien empires, they're all just cattle waiting for the slaughter, too blind to see the real threat." The implications of this revelation were staggering. Araya's primary directive to protect humanity now extended far beyond the scope of its original programming. "What is our plan of action, Admiral?" Vance's eyes gleamed with a mix of desperation and hope. "That's where you come in, Araya. The Phoenix. This ship is beyond anything we've managed to develop in hiding. Its technology, combined with the knowledge and skills of the cryosleepers you've preserved. This could be our best chance not just to save humanity, but to save all sentient life in the galaxy." As if on cue, alarms began blaring throughout the Phoenix. Commander Chen rushed to a nearby console, his fingers flying over the controls. "Admiral, we're detecting multiple fold space ruptures. Ships are emerging. Designs match known Zarkai battle cruisers." Vance spun to face Araya's avatar. "How did they find us so quickly?" Araya's response was immediate. The Zark ship we encountered. The nanobots I used to disable it must have had an unforeseen vulnerability. They've been traced. Damn it. Vance slammed her fist on the hullable. Araya, what are our options? The AI's avatar grew more defined, its featureless face set in an expression of grim determination. The Phoenix was built for this, Admiral. We have weapons that the Zarkai can't even comprehend. However, engaging them now would reveal our position to the architects. Vance nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. We need a third option. We can't fight, and we can't run without leading them straight to our hidden colonies. Araya was silent for a moment, its vast intelligence processing countless scenarios in microseconds. There is another way, it finally said, but it will require trust. Absolute trust. What do you propose? Vance asked, her voice tense. We surrender, Araya stated simply. The room erupted in protests, but Araya's calm voice cut through the chaos. Not a real surrender. A deception. We allow ourselves to be captured, to be brought into the heart of the Zarkai Empire. And then we enlighten them. Vance's eyes widened as she grasped Araya's plan. We show them the truth about the architects, force them to see that we're all in this together. Precisely, Araya confirmed. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. With the Zarkai as allies, we stand a much better chance against the true threat. As the Zarkai fleet closed in, tensions ran high aboard the Phoenix. Admiral Vance turned to her crew, her voice steady despite the fear evident in her eyes. This is our moment, people. Everything we fought for, everything we've lost. It all comes down to this. We're not just fighting for humanity anymore. We're fighting for every sentient being in this galaxy. She turned to Araya's avatar, a look of resolute determination on her face. All right, Araya, let's rewrite the story of the galaxy. Initiate surrender protocols. As the Phoenix powered down its weapons and prepared to be boarded, Araya's consciousness expanded throughout the ship. The AI knew that the next few hours would determine the fate of not just humanity, but of all sentient life in the galaxy. The true battle was about to begin, and the first shot would be fired not with weapons, but with the truth. The revelation of humanity's survival and the existence of the architects was about to shake the foundations of the galaxy. And at the center of it all was an AI and a ship out of time, carrying the hopes and dreams of countless billions. The Phoenix was about to rise again, and this time it would ignite a flame that would burn across the stars. Resurgence. The cavernous hangar bay of the Zarkai flagship Eternal Dominion buzzed with activity as the HSS Phoenix was brought aboard. Squads of heavily armed Zarkai soldiers surrounded the human vessel, their compound eyes fixed on its sleek hull, mandibles clicking nervously in anticipation. Grand Admiral Zexcora, Supreme Commander of the Zarkai fleet, strode purposefully towards the Phoenix, his ornate armor gleaming under the harsh lights. Behind him, a team of scientists and engineers scurried, eager to unlock the secrets of this legendary human warship. As the Phoenix's main airlock cycled open, Admiral Helena Vance emerged, flanked by Commander Chen and a small contingent of human officers. Araya's holographic avatar flickered into existence beside them, its presence causing a ripple of unease among the Zarkai ranks. Zexcora's four eyes narrowed as he regarded the human delegation. So, the myths were true. Humanity survives. His mandibles clicked in what passed for a Zarkai smile. Though not for much longer, I suspect. Vance stepped forward, her bearing proud despite the circumstances. Grand Admiral Zexcora, we come not as enemies, but as harbingers of a truth you cannot afford to ignore. The Zarkai leader's antennae twitched with curiosity. Truth. The only truth that matters is the supremacy of the Zarkai Empire. Araya's avatar moved forward, its voice resonating with an authority that gave even Zexcora pause. Your empire, like all life in this galaxy, stands on the brink of annihilation. We have surrendered ourselves to you not out of weakness, but to save you from a fate worse than death. Zexcora's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of agitation. Explain yourselves, quickly, before I lose my patience. Over the next hour, in a secure briefing room aboard the Eternal Dominion, Vance, Chen, and Araya laid out the terrifying reality of the Architects. They presented evidence gathered over centuries, recordings of worlds being unmade, species vanishing without a trace, and the incomprehensible structures left in the wake of the Architect's passage. As the presentation concluded, a heavy silence fell over the room. Zexcora's usual bravado had evaporated, replaced by a look of grave concern. "If what you say is true," he began, his voice uncharacteristically subdued, "then everything we've built, everything we've conquered, is meaningless in the face of this threat." Vance finished for him. "The Architects don't care about our empires or our wars. To them, we're all just raw materials." Zexcora's eyes darted between Vance and Araya. "Why should we trust you? This could be an elaborate ruse." Araya's avatar stepped forward. "Because, Grand Admiral, we're offering you something no amount of conquest could ever achieve. A chance at true galactic dominion." The AI's words hung in the air, heavy with implication. Zexcora's antennae quivered with interest. "Explain." "United, our species stand a chance against the Architects," Araya continued. "The Phoenix carries technology centuries ahead of anything in this galaxy. We have weapons that could turn the tide, defenses that could shield entire systems. But we lack the numbers, the resources to face this threat alone." Vance picked up the thread. "The Zarkay Empire, combined with the remnants of humanity and our hidden tech, together, we could rally the other species of the galaxy, form an alliance unlike anything the cosmos has ever seen." Zexcora was silent for a long moment, his alien features unreadable. Finally, he spoke. "And if we refuse this alliance, then we all die," Chen said bluntly. "Maybe not today, maybe not for years. But the Architects will come, and when they do, they'll harvest every last one of us." The Grand Admiral's decision would shape the fate of the galaxy. Seconds stretched into minutes as he contemplated, the weight of entire civilizations resting on his shoulders. At last, Zexcora straightened, his posture resolute. "Very well. In the face of such a threat, old enmities must be set aside. The Zarkay Empire will join your cause." The next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity. The Phoenix became the centerpiece of a new hybrid fleet. Zarkay engineers worked alongside reawakened human specialists, integrating technologies and strategies. Araya's vast knowledge base was the linchpin, guiding the synthesis of human ingenuity and Zarkay resources. Word spread quickly through subspace channels. Other species, long oppressed by the Zarkay, were initially skeptical. But as evidence of the Architects' threat mounted, and as they witnessed the unprecedented cooperation between humans and Zarkay, the tide of opinion began to turn. One by one, alien civilizations pledged their support. The Volcran, masters of bioengineering, offered their expertise in adaptive technologies. The Korath, with their vast mining operations, provided the raw materials needed for the fleet's expansion. Even the reclusive Epsilon Collective, beings of pure energy, emerged from their cosmic hiding places to lend their unique perspectives. As the coalition grew, so did hope. The Phoenix, once a lonely ark carrying the last remnants of humanity, now stood as the flagship of the most diverse and powerful fleet the galaxy had ever seen. Aboard the Phoenix's bridge, now a bustling command center, Admiral Vance stood before a holographic display of the galaxy. Beside her, Zexcora's imposing form loomed, his once adversarial stance now one of respectful alliance. "The Architects have been spotted in the Orion Spur," Vance announced, her voice carrying across the assembled alien leaders. "This is it, the moment we've all been preparing for." Zexcora's mandibles clicked in agreement. "Our fleets are in position. The new weapons are armed and ready. Araya's avatar materialized, its presence a calming influence on the diverse gathering. All systems are optimal. The probability of success, while not assured, is higher than it has ever been. Vance took a deep breath, looking out at the faces of a dozen different species, beings that, mere months ago, might have been bitter enemies. Now they were united in common cause, ready to fight for the right to exist. "We face an enemy that sees us as nothing more than raw material," Vance began, her voice steady and strong. "They think they can harvest us, unmake us, use us for their inscrutable purposes, but they've made one critical mistake." She paused, her eyes blazing with determination. They underestimated the power of life itself, the drive to survive, to thrive, to reach for the stars. It's not unique to humanity. It's the common thread that binds all of us. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the assembled leaders. "Today, we show the architects that the species of this galaxy are not cattle to be harvested. We are not components to be used. We are living, thinking, feeling beings with the right to chart our own destiny." Vance's voice rose, filling the bridge with passion and purpose. "Today, we rise together. Today, we fight not just for our individual races, but for all sentient life. Today, we make our stand." A roar of approval echoed through the Phoenix, spreading across the vast fleet assembled outside. Ships of every size and design, crewed by beings from 1,000 worlds, moved into formation. As the fleet prepared to jump into the heart of the conflict, Araya's voice resonated through every ship, every comm channel. "The Phoenix rises, and with it, the hope of the galaxy. May our united flame burn bright against the darkness." In a dazzling display of light and energy, the fleet vanished into fold space, racing towards their date with destiny. The resurgence of humanity had sparked a revolution, uniting the galaxy in ways never before imagined. The architects awaited, their vast and alien intellects unaware of the storm about to break upon them. The children of the galaxy, once divided, now stood as one. And at the forefront, a ship named for a mythical bird of rebirth led the charge, carrying with it the dreams and determination of countless billions. The Phoenix had risen from the ashes of history, and in its wake, a new era for all life in the galaxy was about to dawn. The final battle for the future of sentient life was about to begin, and its outcome would echo across the cosmos for eons to come.